On this week's Silver Screen Report, we're devoting our show to various aspects of school safety.
Good afternoon, Dutch Fork. Today is Friday, March 2nd, and your Silver Screen Report starts now.
With recent acts of violence in the nation and in our school, our community has had a strong reaction to these incidents. We talked to both students and adults about what's being done to keep us safe. Last Tuesday, students and parents were notified of a threat made to the school. This prompted increased law enforcement presence by the Richland County Sheriff's Department on campus throughout the week.
So today the Richland County Sheriff's Department continues to investigate the threats at Dutch Fork High School. We wanted parents to know that while that investigation continues, we'll continue to have increased security here at the school. That includes the 2 dedicated SROs and also our own safety officers that work for the district. We certainly take threats seriously, and the safety of our students is a priority. So we're taking every proactive measure we can to ensure our students feel safe.
The Sheriff's Department has a high presence within this community already. I think that presence will continue throughout the week, regardless of if threats were made or not. However, we're going to make sure that this specific school has specific attention because things were made towards this school.
The recent events in Florida and around the nation have sparked debate over school safety. Specific actions have been taken by the Broward County Sheriff's Department to arm SROs with rifles in an attempt to prevent mass casualties.
Even before the recent threats, I think the district has done a good job to ensure that we drill, we prepare, and we have law enforcement here and present on campus. So several years ago, through the leadership of our school board, we were able to implement SROs in every school across the district. That's not typical in South Carolina, it's not typical across the nation, but our school leaders thought it was important that we have that presence. And that's really a deterrent, so is drilling, so that if there is an emergency situation, students know exactly what to do.
I think it's important to take a firm stance on the issue and the fact that things are not where we want them to be from a safety standpoint, or at least they weren't as of a week or 2 ago. I think Dr. Gary's done a great job of tightening up security, like with the breezeway doors, with having SROs in the parking lot. And I definitely feel like the environment's shifted a lot. Obviously, there is still concerns about school safety nationally, but as far as at this school, I feel like a lot of measures have been taken.
Another outcome of the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School shooting is the rise of student protests being led by victims. These protests intend to start a dialogue on school safety and gun violence, and demonstrations are planned nationwide.
We encourage our students to be active, and we know the power of the student voice. So from our perspective, we encourage the students' right to exercise their First Amendment rights, free speech, and any attendance policy would apply to that.
First off, I'd like to start by saying that as this generation that we have, I think it's awesome to look at the kids in Florida and see the way that they're speaking out and standing up for what they believe in, not kind of fading in the background, but they're making sure their voices are heard. I think it's important to us as a generation of change, as you know, the next group upcoming to vote. I think it's very important to get involved in the democratic process. How we plan to do that here is, instead of just walking out of school, we're going to have time, and I'm talking to admin about this, but we're going to have time to register to vote, to email, call your congressman, and then have your voices heard that way, which I feel like would be a more effective manner. But I definitely think that it's important for our voices to be heard, and it's definitely important to stand up for what we believe in. And if that is school safety, then we got to go all in and just make sure that our voice is heard and that we join this generation of change. And I'm very excited about it.
For these kids in the hall, we asked students about the possibility of arming teachers.
No, I don't think teachers should be armed, because then it will give students more of an option to have access to guns and have an easier way for them to get them.
I don't believe teachers should have guns in school, because it's only bringing more guns on campus and it's making it dangerous for other people.
I feel like teachers shouldn't be able to have guns on school grounds, but I do feel like they should have higher pay regardless of the gun control laws.
I don't believe teachers should have guns in school just because we already have school resource officers which serve the same purpose, and I think that guns in the classroom would be very intimidating to a lot of students, but it's just a very political topic that, you know, no one really has the certain answer for.
For the past 2 Tuesdays, students anxiously gathered in the auditorium after school to discuss issues regarding school safety at Principal Gerald Gary's town hall meetings. Maddie McCormick was there.
The auditorium fell silent as students waited for Principal Gerald Gary to address their safety concerns in light of last week's events.
You guys know our facilities sometimes better than us. You know the nick and crannies, you know what students do and how they behave and where they like to wander and hide. So we just want to get everybody's viewpoint on how we can make our campus safer.
One of my concerns was definitely how easy it is for an intruder to get onto campus without having to go through the front office.
There is a shooter that comes in, how we're going to stop him, where he's going to be at, what time he's going to be at, and all the other times to keep everyone safe.
Students voiced that they want to see an increase in security and disciplinary action within the following weeks.
I know it was a serious issue last week, but I think it should be considered serious every single day and not just like heavily on one week or the next.
I really hope stricter punishments to help the kids really learn to be a better person in the outcome.
I'm hoping to see more security and definitely more policemen on campus to make sure that everything's running smoothly.
Letting students have a voice on school issues not only gives students an opportunity to make a change, but allows the administration another point of view.
To all the students, I would say don't worry at all, because these administrations and teachers that always have our safeties, our security guards, our security officers, they're here for us.
I would say that like if you see something, you should definitely say something, and that if you want something to happen, you should definitely come to the meetings and voice your opinion.
We have locked the doors entering from the bus loop to the commons area. Now seniors that have senior study hall that come in late, they have to come in front and come through attendance, as well as we are preparing a drill in case there were ever an intruder during lunch or during the change of classes, and we'll be doing that over the next few weeks.
Contact administration for any concerns or questions you may have. This has been Maddie McCormick with your Silver Screen Report. The SAT word of the week is trepidation, a noun meaning fear or apprehension.
After every shooting like Parkland, the question on everyone's lips is why? The answer may lie in the shooter's mind. Here's Mia Perry with more.
According to research, increases in depression and anxiety from 1998 to present day have continued to increase. However, sources say that the increase in violence involves a variety of aspects.
I think there are individuals who grow up in families where they're not being nurtured, where they're not getting the norm, and we know parenting covers a broad realm, and there's great parents and there's okay parents, but I'm talking about absent parents, abusive parents, parents who are addicted to pain medications, other drugs or alcohol, and these kids are kind of being left totally to themselves. When this happens, they don't develop the kinds of relationships and skills that they need.
Unfortunately, while the rest of us see those events and are horrified by them and find them traumatic, some people see that as being glorified. And people who feel marginalized or feel like their voices are not being heard, feel like people are not attentive or caring about their challenges, will maybe do that as an attention-seeking measure.
If you look at the statistics, most of the shooters have said that they've been bullied in some way or another. And unfortunately for a lot of these kids, because they may present as being a little odd or different, that happens. So when you don't have connections at home, you don't have relationships at school, what happens? You withdraw even further. And what do you tend to find? Sometimes the internet. And the internet can be an okay thing, but it also can help lead you down the rabbit hole.
According to research, over 85% of all homicides are committed by men, as well as the fact that manhood is something that is repeatedly expressed through actions and something to be earned. This causes men to be increasingly aggressive as they get older and is a cultural factor of the increase in violence.
My father's telling my brothers, you know, when they got into a fight with somebody, a verbal fight, go out there and kick their butts. I mean, actually go out physically hurt them, which I was really shocked. And then he would stand outside and say, don't come back in, and he would use kind of bad language too. Don't come back in, and he would say words to my brothers until that kid was like pretty much lying in the street and not being able to fight back. So, you know, you have that, and that can kind of mess somebody up, I guess, you know. You're thinking, okay, that's what I have to do. This is a parent saying this to a child. Go out there and fight that person. because he called you a name or because he said something wrong. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I think that's very much a cultural issue and a social issue. Just like women are pressured to be thin and beautiful, men are pressured to be strong and not show a ton of emotion. And then when they struggle with that, I think that in general they're less likely to reach out for help, and in some cultures it's considered a sign of weakness.
I think this is changing, but I do think males have always been a little bit more introverted. Females seem to do a better job of finding other folks to connect with. If there's problems, they can discuss their emotional lives. Men talk sports, they talk all kinds of things, but very seldom they talk about, oh boy, did I ever have a bad cry the other night?
Simply giving someone a smile, waving at them in the hallway, or even complimenting their clothes can boost their self-esteem and/or attitude. If someone is ever acting strange, it's important that as peers, we notice it and do something about it.
We really need to start paying attention to our peers. If something is changing about them, we need to do something about it. We definitely need to step up in educating people and telling them that talking to people about their issues is okay. We need to start encouraging, if you're having issues such as these, you need to start encouraging therapy, talking to people, getting help, etc.
Sometimes I find that in the schools, we do marshal as many services as we can. Students may be getting help through special education services, counseling, mental health support through the in-school people. But then I see when they do leave school, when they graduate or finish school, all of a sudden they're out in the world and there's no connection for them at that point. I think that's a critical time where those folks, I think there should be a continuum of support from the high schools through the mental health centers afterwards to make sure these children are safe in getting the treatment that they need.
If you or someone you know is ever going through a rough time, please feel free to visit our school counselors here at Dutch Fork. People are always here to help, and talking to someone can really do miracles. This has been Mia Perry with your Silver Screen Report.
Simple safety procedures can prevent possible emergencies. Bailey Hunter discusses the importance of school safety.
School safety has been a prominent topic. What kind of steps are we taking to increase the safety of our campus?
You know, it did make people afraid for a moment. It made people question their safety here. And as an administrator, that's something we hate to hear because we don't want anybody to question their safety here. But sometimes that's what happens. So that's one thing it did. On another hand, though, I feel like it might have made us a little bit tighter, too, in a lot of ways, because now, we feel like we are in this together. It's not you versus me and everything else. It's we're in this together. This is our school. This is our community. We want to make sure we take it, and make it safe for everybody.
Got to get out of this mindset that if I tell somebody that I'm snitching on them. We're now dealing with, potential violence of students that, in my opinion, I think you're being irresponsible by not telling somebody if you know of any type of violent activity that's going on, be it a fight, be it a weapon, be it something, but you've got to let us know. Again, as you've heard, we've got a lot of students, we have a large campus, can't know everything that's going on, and so I need the help of the students.
With a rising concern, it has become increasingly difficult for outside threats to find their way into our school environment.
We're making sure that all doors are locked. Not that that wasn't the way it was before, but now we're limiting even more towards the bus loop, trying to keep those doors locked during the school day rather than just before and after school, and having it unlocked during class changes and things like that. You see teachers and administration out in the hallways at all times during class changes, trying to be more vigilant upon that. I think students wearing their IDs all the time has been very helpful.
The best and the easiest, and it sounds silly, but it's the IDs. We're asking students to wear their IDs at all times. We have, approximately almost 1,900 students here at Dutch Fork. I don't know each and every one of my students. I wish I did, but I don't. And so when I'm walking down the halls, I'm either looking for two things. I'm looking for an ID around your neck or a visitor sticker saying that you're supposed to be here.
Administration believes students should feel safe here at school.
At Dutch Fork, both Deputy Scott and myself take safety and security very serious. It's not something that that we take lightly. It's not something that we're not keenly aware of what's going on. And so I wanted to comment on the incident that happened down in Florida. A lot of students have even come, teachers have asked, you know, is that what law enforcement is supposed to do? And I'm happy to tell you, Richland County and other agencies, we're not trained that way. And what I mean by that is we are trained to run towards the gunfire. Our job is to eliminate the threat. And I basically want the students here at Dutch Fork to know that that's what Deputy Scott and myself believe our role is, that if something catastrophic were to happen here, I'm quite confident that both of us would move in and take care of whatever threat we're dealing with. And so be encouraged by that. Again, as I said before, we don't take it lightly. You're our students and our job is to keep you safe.
This has been Bailey Hunter with your Silver Screen Report.
With increased awareness of school safety, some flaws in the system are being addressed. Kylie Fine has a few tips on staying safe if events like that take place on our campus.
Active shootings are a concern for many students. While most students say they know the safety precautions to take in class changes and lunch are a bigger worry. We met with Assistant Principal Christian English to discuss the administration's plans for future drills and safety measures. One priority of administration is announced drills during class change, and next Friday will be our first one of these drills. English says that unannounced drills are a larger goal for the school, but currently drills will be announced in order to prevent unnecessary panic. On Monday's Fox Focus Spotlight, the topic will focus on lockdown and active shooting drills. English and other administrators say while there is no way to have a perfect plan, it's best to stay calm, work together, and get to a safe place as far away as possible. Lunch drills are another goal of administration. The best places to go depend on your location in the cafeteria or commons. English says if you're in the back half of the cafeteria or the senior cafeteria, it is advised to go down the back staircase and into the classrooms below. If a student finds themselves in the commons, it's best to go to the hallway closest to them or through the courtyard and into a surrounding art room. Administration says that students should try to remain calm if a situation like this ever arises. Calmness, team effort, and remembering safe locations are things students should keep in mind. Let us know if you have other concerns and the Silver Screen staff will investigate them. Meanwhile, this has been Kylie Fine with your Silver Screen Report.
And now for some announcements. Dance 5 bonus auditions will be held next Tuesday after school in the dance room. See Ms. Ross for more information. The Masterclass Orchestra auditions will take place next Thursday after school. See Mr. Washington in room 402 for more information. Now here's Todd with more.
Thanks, Maria. Need a temporary ID before school starts? IDs will be printed in the Media Center from 7:50 to 8:20 a.m. and Wednesdays from 9 to 9:20. Remember, not wearing your ID will earn you a 2-hour detention. Do you have excessive absences and need to make up time? Attend the Student Attendance Makeup Program on Saturday, March 17th. See Mrs. Cates in the attendance office to sign up. The junior class ring ceremony is next Thursday at 7 p.m. in the auditorium. Thanks for watching. Please join us as we bid a farewell to Maria Eduarda, who is moving to Florida this weekend. We'll miss you.